Welcome to the Midweek Refuel with Lupus and Color, where we strive to educate, inspire, encourage, and empower lupus warriors worldwide. Today's Midweek Refuel is going to be about fault and how lupus is not your fault. You didn't cause lupus to come into your body. You not praying enough is not causing your lupus. Your ancestors or your family's sins are not causing your lupus. Your body just has lupus. And we often want to fault ourselves for what lupus is doing to us and for having lupus. And we want to guilt trip ourselves to try and justify something that we did to make us have lupus. And lupus is not your fault. Your body is going haywire. It's fighting itself. There's nothing that you did to cause that. There's no prayer that you didn't send up to God or the universe or your higher power that made you have lupus. There's no sin that you have made that would cause a higher power or the universe to give this to you. Some of us have had lupus since we were born. Some of us got lupus later on in life, but it wasn't our fault. Nobody is at fault for things that an already complex body does. Our body is not as simple as people seem to think. It's such a complex thing that keeps us alive, even beyond the issues that lupus brings us. So I want you to start thinking about not faulting yourself or guilting yourself because you have lupus. You have lupus. It's an unfortunate disease to have. But you can take control over what's going on in your body. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean eating healthier, moving more, resting and sleeping more. Resting and sleep are two different things. There's a post that I made about that. But resting and sleeping more, keeping your mind correct, keeping your spirit right. Some of these things help you cope with lupus. Some of these things can help you respond a little different to lupus. And being mindful of these things helps you find ways to really remove the fault from yourself and just realize it is what it is. It is not your fault that you have lupus, even though some people might tell you that. It is not your fault that you're going to go through flares. You can do everything right. And I've said this before. I'm a prime example of it. You can do everything right. You can eat correctly. You can work out 30 minutes a day. You can go to your therapist and release all these feelings. You can journal. You can go to church, or you can go to a spiritual person, or you can, deal with your spirituality the way that you deal with your spirituality, and you will still have a flare because your body is just fighting itself. Your body is just in a war with itself. Some of the stuff that you're doing is going to prevent it from happening more often and have a longer lasting effect on you. But the reality is you can do everything correct and you still have a flare. I've been working out. I've been eating well. I've been doing everything that I feel and that I know from journaling myself that help my body do well with things that lupus puts it through. But I still get flares. I just got over a flare, then I went back into a flare, then I stopped. Everything was in the silence, and then boom, here comes a flare again. It rains. Oh my gosh, my body's like, why is it raining? Why would you do that to me? So there are so many different things that can cause flares, including your stress, including just your body just having lupus. And I said this in the last midweek refuel. Sometimes you have to be reminded, yeah, dude, you got lupus. And sometimes things are just not going to go perfectly. And that's just life itself. But I don't want you to fault yourself for having lupus. Now, if you went out there and you overdid it, and you knew you weren't feeling well, you ate incorrectly, you ate foods that you know bring on inflammation in your body, then that's your fault. That's something that you did that caused your body to have a reaction. It didn't respond, it reacted to what you did to it. Then that's your fault. But lupus itself, you having lupus, is not your fault. And you have to separate the two. And you have to be honest with yourself. Oh, I overdid it. That's my fault. I know why my feet are swollen. I was eating a lot of salt. I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. I was walking a lot and I wasn't feeling well when I started. And then boom, yeah, that's my fault. But lupus itself is not your fault. So I just wanted to put that out in the atmosphere for you all and just hold some space for anybody who thinks that it's your fault to be strong enough to know that it's not your fault, and don't guilt yourself for it. Give yourself some grace. Your body is a complex item that you are residing in, that your spirit and soul is residing in. You cannot relegate it to it just being your fault because it's something that you did. This body of ours is very complex. And although it's complex, we can do simple things to help ourselves along this lupus journey. So your midweek refuel for today, and I'm hoping I made sense. Your midweek refuel for today is lupus is not your fault. But there are some things that you might be doing that can cause your body to react in a lupus manner. So be mindful of those things and understand what you're doing to your body to make a flare come on, and what you're not doing to yourself that made lupus come in your body. It is what it is. You have lupus. You're going to go through a whole mourning period of not accepting it, denying it, and saying it's your fault, guilting yourself. Let's get to the point where you're understanding that lupus is here. And until a cure is found, you have to deal with it on a level where you can cope and you can have a semblance of a normal life for yourself. So don't fault yourself. Don't guilt yourself about lupus. Don't do things that you know cause yourself flares. Don't do things that might harm you more than it will help you. And respond to lupus a little differently than you've been responding. And I guarantee you'll feel just a little bit better. I'm not saying that lupus is going to go away if you think positive and things of that nature. That's not what I'm saying at all, because we know that's not true. What I am saying is that you can make it just a little bit easier on yourself to deal with it and to respond to it in a different manner so that you don't have as much stress that can cause some flares for you. So thank you everyone for always tuning in. Today starts our day 1 for our mindful eating challenge. And today your mindful eating challenge is, and I posted it not too long ago. I don't want to quote myself incorrectly. So let me go and see what it says. Your mindful eating challenge for today is to clean your space. Clean your space. You ever go to your table and you're going to eat, and there's stuff all over the table. The table might be dirty or whatever have you. And it's just not a nice place to eat. I want you to just clean your space. Be mindful. Choose one meal where you want to clear your space. You deserve a place to eat that is peaceful and calm for you. So clean up the table, clean around you, and choose one meal that you're going to eat mindfully, whether it be, well, now it's lunch or dinner for us over here on the East Coast, but it could be your snack, it could be your meal or whatever, your dinner meal or whatever have you. But choose that one place, that one meal to eat mindfully, and do nothing but eat. So in other words, don't pick up your phone, don't talk, Just do nothing but eat and see how that makes you more mindful of your meal. And then after your meal, of course, you're going to wipe your mouth and you're going to burp maybe, Just notice what the food tastes like. Notice what's going on in your mind when you're chewing. Make sure that you're, just paying attention to the scents, paying attention to the textures, paying attention to how it tastes on your tongue and how your teeth feel when you're chewing. Do all that today. Your next meal. And then after you eat, I want you to joyfully observe the taste and the textures, like I said. And then after that, you're going to say to yourself, I joyfully observe the taste and textures of this food. Why do we do affirmations? Because it sets an intention in our mind. Instead of us rushing through meals, the whole point of mindful eating is to really stop and be present with your meal. When you're present with your meal, you can make better decisions and you can change your relationship with food. A lot of us are trying to lose weight. A lot of us are trying to remove inflammation through food. And, sometimes your food can be your medicine. So I wanted to give you something to really help you stop and be mindful of what you're doing. When you stop and you pause, there is so much that can happen in those moments that you really realize, okay, why am I eating this? What am I eating? How does it taste? What don't I like about it? What do I like about it? Am I eating because I'm hungry, or am I eating because it's just a habit that I eat at 6 o'clock at night? So today is day 1. If you're with me, go on and put I am mindfully eating this week in the comments and let us know that you're with us. And I hope that today has been a great day for you, and I hope that you are pain-free somewhat. And if you're not pain-free, I hope that you're at least getting some relief. And thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow because it's going to be day 2 of mindfully eating. So you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.